Good afternoon, Big Brother fans. It is Wednesday, August 14th, and once again, this is day 30, so we are 1/3 of the way through Big Brother 26. So since I talked to you this morning, again, not a whole lot's going on. There is stuff going on though. They have at least Cedric has been out there on the campaign trail, talking to everybody, wanting to stay, trying to make sure he has the votes to stay. If he happens to come up against Rubina, that is the one reason that he might not stay, is if the votes suddenly flip to keeping Rubina, which was kind of talked about last night. It'll get talked about more tonight. So it's like, all right, that's going on, right? Okay, we're clear. Good. I'll tell you tomorrow morning if I think it's leaning one way or the other. But I'm not going to try to dissect all these individual chats that are happening right now, as far as who might go, who might stay, and we're still very much in flux. And as I said this morning, this whole flip-flop thing just doesn't have that much of the meaning when there's so many other factors right now weighing on who's going to actually be the final two tomorrow. We just don't have a way to know that, so I'm not going to worry about one of possible three outcomes and then trying to decide, because the house guests aren't either. They're like, well, if it's going to be MJ, unless it's going to be MJ if she's up there. She's getting sent home if she is on the block tomorrow after the AI comp. If she wins the AI comp, that's when it gets tricky. That's when I thought for sure it was going to be Rubina going, but there's been a little bit of a pushback and everything, so we're just not sure. So there's that. That's the major house voting stuff going on. There's talk of other alliances forming, but again, as I also tweeted today, it's like, is this just a group of people that aren't in the non-collective people kind of trying to throw people together to form another alliance? It just seems weird to me. It just doesn't seem very strong. It's like Tucker and Angela and MJ, and I'm not even naming a specific group of people. It's just like, but it doesn't feel nearly as solid or as firm. It just seems more like people getting together because they don't have anybody else. I mean, I think it was MJ and Leah talking, and today, I think it was today or it was yesterday, saying they don't know if there's any alliances, right? They seem to think that, I'm not sure if there's any alliances yet. What's going on? And it's like, oh, girls, ladies, you are so far out of it. And that's why I did actually do my little pool analogy today. I had a couple quick minutes, and so I threw together my images and have my 4 categories of where you're at in the pool, right? You're either in the deep end because you are up to it and you are actively involved in what's going on in the house. You're in the shallow end because you're kind of a little bit, you may think you're big stuff because you're in the pool, but you're really not doing as much as you may think you are. You might even have a kickboard with you. That would be another option. Do you have a kickboard with you? And then you've got the kiddie pool, where a couple of house guests are currently sitting. They aren't even brave enough to get in the big pool yet, but they may. I joked. They may be dipping their toes today. And then finally you have the people that are on the side, just sitting in the lounge chairs watching it all go on. And those 2 people, in my book, would be Leah and MJ. Sitting on the side, don't think there are any alliances. We're just kind of here to catch some rays and check out everybody else. That's my analysis. And then the people I said decided that came up with it were in the shallow end, or in the kiddie pool. I'm sorry, kiddie pool. That was Takor and Chemo. That's what I said this morning, and I said the day before. This is what I've been sticking with. They are the 2 in the kiddie pool. They're talking game. They're talking about what should happen, but they're not doing anything. And they're just not. And I'm just, until they make some major moves, I can't move them out of the kiddie pool, right? And so they're talking about forming an alliance. They were the ones that were talking about possibly keeping Rubina. So if they pull off something like that, that would be a big move. And by gosh, they're getting in the shallow end then, okay? And if one of them wins the head of household, that's going to throw them in the deep end pretty quick, right? That's one of my criteria for the deep end is, have you been a head of household where you've had to do stuff. So let's go to the shallow end. The next on the shallow end. So I put, this is where it's kind of iffy, right? These are people that are kind of doing stuff, but I'm really not feeling like they're quite as into it as they could be. And they may have potential, but right now they're just not quite doing it. And that's where I have, and this is in no particular order, just the order that I dragged the pictures. You got Brooklyn, you got Joseph, you got Cam, and you got Rubina. Right? They're all kind of doing stuff. They're all kind of playing the game. I mean, Rubina was kind of questionable. I almost put her in the kiddie pool, but I thought, she's actually trying to get involved and do stuff with Tucker. Plus, she's going to potentially end up in the block. She's a renom. So I just felt like, all right, we're going to put Rubina in the shallow end. Okay, so she's there, not doing a whole lot yet. Cam thinks he's doing stuff, kind of, but I'm not sure. Which is interesting because remember, they've got the collective alliance and the 3 C's, and Cam is one of the 3 C's, and yet I've got him in the shallow end. He is not in the deep end. Sorry. And then Joseph thinks he's running the show in some ways, and he is just not. He's not a bad player, but he seems to think he's doing a lot better than he is as far as when it comes to running things. And yes, and the last one, Brooklyn. Same kind of thing. She has a lot of potential. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, I think she's going to do well." Well, she hasn't done it yet. She's been a lot of talk so far. And then you have the deep end folks, the folks that are into it. They may be drowning, but they are in the deep end, right? Like Angela's been drowning. She's okay right now. She seems to be going about, but they are in it. They're in it. Tucker. Again, he's in it. He's never been head of household, but by gosh, he is just in it to his neck, going hard, going hardcore. And then Quinn he's playing the game, and he's been head of household by a secret head of household. So he's doing stuff. He's been in the mix. He had the power, and granted, MJ had a power, but she didn't really use it, and Quinn didn't use it as the way he could have used it. So I'm just saying, I do see Quinn as being in the mix though, and being very active and trying to get stuff done and working on it. So Quinn's in the deep end. Then finally Cedric and Chelsea, both head of households, both involved, both in the C's, the 3 C's, which is the core group of the Pentagon. Again, that's where I don't have Cam, because I just don't feel he's doing enough. But I do feel that Cedric and Chelsea are doing enough to be in that deep end. And Chelsea, in part because she's one head of household. It was kind of the easiest head of household of the group, if you ask me. But she is doing stuff. She is active. She was head of household. So she gets the deep end for me. All right, those are my listings. So anything else to tell you guys? I wanted to address, I think her name was Rachel. She messaged me asking me questions about Cam. About Cam's profession, which he's listed as a physical therapist, and I'm sorry, I read her message while I was walking to my car, and I'm not going to try to pull it up to reread it right now, but the point is, and part of Rachel's questions was, is Cam really a licensed physical therapist, I think is what she's asking, and of course, physical therapist is kind of and I'm using air quotes here, a generic term. It's kind of tossed around sometimes. There's a lot of level of physical therapy, what you can be or what physical therapists are and who they are and what kind of training they have to have. So it's kind of a catch-all. I do not know what Cam's actual degree is in, if he has an actual degree. We've had people that have gone by like Dr. right? Dr. Will. Well, when Dr. Will was first on Big Brother, he was in school. And was he in dental? I don't think he was in dental school. He's in school for skincare, all right? Now, it doesn't mean he's not a doctor, but there are medical doctors and there are other types of doctors, doctors of psychology, doctors of psychiatry. There's PhD doctors and there's medical doctors. I am not 100% sure that Dr. Will's degree is a full-blown medical doctor with years of internship and stuff. I think it's a bit of a Dr. Light, and I will be happy to be corrected from people. I'm not trying to disparage Will's credentials, but if my memory serves, what his degree is in and what he's doing, it is not quite the same as others would have, right? So, yeah, you know, it's kind of like I said, doctor of psychology, doctor of psychiatry. Yes, they have definitely. What one of the things Rachel was asking was, have they stretched what someone's profession is? Yes, they have. They have stretched professions. They have, you know, they might. I'll give you another example, and I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus in this case, but there have been seasons where they have said someone maybe is a college professor, right? Maybe that kind of a thing. Turns out they're a lecturer. They're not, you know, a full-blown college professor would say they're not a professor, they're a lecturer. They're not doing research, they're not doing certain things that would be considered the same as a professor. It's just, you know, sometimes somebody's real profession isn't the best thing. As a matter of fact, here you go. Joseph has revealed, I do not even know what Joseph's profession is right now. I can't tell you. It is not video store clerk, okay? Joseph, he told the house guests that he works at the video store because I think he gets free rentals if he does it. It's almost like a volunteer thing that he gets his rentals in kind for working there. So I don't know what Joseph does. Maybe he doesn't do anything right now, but he is not, you know, saying he's a video store clerk is not necessarily exactly accurate, or a video store worker. That's the kind of stuff you never know what people, you know, their professions don't necessarily match up with what Big Brother decides to highlight. Does that make sense? Hopefully that explained it. I don't know. This all comes about because Tucker and Cam were, I think it was Rubina that wanted her neck popped. I can't do this stuff, guys. I've gone to a chiropractor once, and that's the scariest thing in the world, having somebody, you know, manipulate your neck and pop things. And no, I don't. Massage maybe, but you are not doing sudden jerking motions with my body. No, my wife has it done. You know, I don't know if she has that done, but I don't care. The adjustments, no. And I'm not knocking the profession. I'm just not having it done to me. Sorry. But anyways, the people that do certain things, they attach titles to them, and sometimes they may not be accurate what they really are versus what they do. And so, no, just don't ever believe whatever they tell you people are doing, what their jobs are on Big Brother. They have to have a job that they either have walked away from or is a seasonal job. The problem now is that seasons, right? Remember? No, you don't remember. I think Rachel's wasn't around for Big Brother 4. At least she wasn't watching it. And Big Brother 4, there was a guy on there named Jerry, and Jerry was a high school teacher. Actually, mingle mix. There's multiple teachers. That was something they could do because Big Brother would get over close to when the school year started, you know, where they could maybe take stuff off. But now we're talking October. So the people that are on Big Brother tend to not have real jobs or they're between jobs. So whatever they say their job is, just understand they're probably not doing that job right now. They probably either walked away from a job or they're between jobs or something. So just bear all of that in mind. The dentist. He's a real dentist. He apparently still is. I can't think of his name now. I'm sorry. What was it? Matt. I can't remember his name. Gosh darn it, I hate it when I do this. But he's a real dentist, which is one reason you don't hear from him anymore, right? He went back to a real job. There are people that have real jobs, and when they come in and do this stuff, or they get real jobs, and then they drop off the face of the earth. So, yeah. Point is, don't believe what people necessarily say they do on Big Brother. It's almost never completely accurate. It's some version of whatever they said that production has decided, let's call you this. Make sense? So Cam may have a degree in physical therapy or physical, whatever he may have a degree in. He may actually do it, but I don't think he had a job when he came into the house, or else he quit his job. And who's to say he was good at his job? I don't know. And who's to say he was bad at his job? I don't know that either. I'm just not sure. All right. Well, folks, I actually am pulling in my driveway, so I talked to you for most of my drive home. There are some of you that used to sit there on Periscope with me while I would do that, but Periscope isn't a thing anymore. And you know what? I haven't even tried this year to do a video cast, a Twitch or anything. It's just so much work, and it's hard to do, and I really miss Periscope. I wish it would come back. I wish it would. I don't understand why, what the problem was. I think it would be because they killed. Maybe you can do video on Twitter still. I guess maybe you can, but that would mean updating my version of Twitter. And my version of Twitter right now is still Elon buying Twitter, right? My version still says Twitter. It doesn't say X. I think if I wanted to do video, I might have to upgrade my Twitter. Maybe I'll try it on my other phone. We'll see. All right, that's it. Now I've really wandered down the rambling road. I gave you, where are we at? We're 16 minutes. So yeah, almost 16 minutes this morning, 16 minutes today. Wow. You got over 30 minutes of me talking to myself. Lucky you. Thanks for supporting me. Thanks for listening to the commercials at the end of this if you do, or thank you for telling your friends about this. Thank you for retweeting it on Twitter if you do, if sharing it, whatever you do to help me get a few more ears listening. It's appreciated. And thank you also to the patrons, the folks that support me that way. Awesome. I appreciate you as well. And you guys have a good Wednesday evening. It is the Power Veto episode tonight. Don't forget that. So I'll be watching that, most likely on a delay. I don't need to watch it live. I just watch at some point tonight. Again, they did say, one little reminder, they did say the competition was pretty cool. So that was their opinion, the house guest opinion, unsolicited. Hopefully it's interesting, and we'll have to see. All right. Thanks again. Talk to you all later. Take care. Bye-bye.